Most people don't truly have a money problem. They have a mindset problem. Every day, millions of people wake up, head to work, earn their paycheck, and still feel as though they are running endlessly on a treadmill that leads nowhere. No matter how hard they work, the bills continue to arrive, the debt keeps increasing, and the dream of financial freedom begins to feel like a distant fantasy. This cycle is not only about the numbers shown on a bank statement, it's about control, about stress, and about the overall quality of your life. The truth is simple. Living paycheck to paycheck is a trap. It keeps your attention fixed on surviving today instead of building a better tomorrow. It creates constant anxiety, limits your options, and forces you to exchange your time for just enough money to remain afloat. But there is good news. You can break free. You can learn to take control of your finances, build lasting wealth, and design a life filled with freedom. In this audiobook, we will uncover the hidden reasons you've been stuck, and we will replace old habits with powerful strategies that create lasting change. You will learn how to track every dollar, eliminate debt, build multiple streams of income, and think like someone who creates wealth rather than someone who constantly chases it. This is not about quick fixes or get-rich-quick schemes. It is about building a strong foundation for a lifetime of financial independence. If you are ready to stop merely surviving and start truly thriving, listen carefully, apply what you learn, and commit yourself to change. Let's begin.
Chapter 1. Face the truth about your money. The first and most important step in escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck trap is to face the truth, not the version you tell yourself to feel better, not the excuses you've relied on for years, but the raw, unfiltered truth about your financial situation. This can feel uncomfortable, sometimes even frightening, but without this step, nothing else you do will truly last. Most people live in denial when it comes to money. They avoid checking their bank balance until they absolutely have to. They pay bills without really understanding where their money is going. They swipe their cards and simply hope everything will somehow work out. But here's the reality. Ignoring the truth doesn't change it. Pretending the problem doesn't exist only makes it worse. Think of it like visiting a doctor. If you don't receive a clear diagnosis, you can't get the right treatment. The same principle applies to your finances. You must know exactly where you stand, how much you earn, how much you spend, how much you owe, and how much you actually have left. When the full picture is laid out in front of you, that's when you can begin taking control. This step is not about judging yourself or feeling ashamed. It's about accepting responsibility. Blame will not pay off your debts. Guilt will not grow your savings. Only action will, and action begins with clarity. Here's what I want you to do. Take a notebook or open a spreadsheet and write down every single source of income you have. Then list every expense. No matter how small, be honest. Don't leave out the daily coffee, the subscription you barely use, or the random purchases you make without thinking. When you're finished, calculate what remains or what you're short of at the end of each month. For many people, this becomes a shocking moment. You may realize that you're spending far more than you believed. You may notice patterns you never saw before, such as how a few small, seemingly harmless habits are costing you hundreds every month. It may sting at first, but this is the moment you reclaim your power. When you face the truth about your money, you are no longer its victim. You are no longer blind to the forces that keep you stuck. You become aware, and awareness is the foundation of freedom. Don't rush through this step. Sit with it. Reflect on what your numbers are telling you. This is the starting line of your journey. You cannot fix what you refuse to see, but once you see clearly, you can change anything. So today, make a promise to yourself. No more hiding, no more pretending, and no more excuses. From this moment forward, you will face your financial reality with courage. Because the truth, however uncomfortable it may feel, is the key that unlocks the door to the life you've been dreaming of. Chapter 2. Break the cycle of living for payday. Imagine this. It's Friday, payday. You open your banking app, and for a brief moment, a wave of relief washes over you. There's money in your account again. You pay a few bills, treat yourself to a nice dinner to celebrate making it through another week, and maybe buy a couple of small things you've been putting off. But by Monday, you're already watching your balance shrink, counting the days until the next payday arrives. Sound familiar? This is the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, and it's one of the most exhausting and limiting ways to live. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. You move, you sweat, you struggle, but you remain in the exact same place month after month, year after year. No matter how hard you work, if the system you're in is designed to keep you stuck, the effort alone won't move you forward. The truth is, this cycle is more than a simple math problem. It's a mindset trap. Living for payday trains you to focus on short-term survival instead of long-term growth. You stop thinking about your future and begin thinking only about making it through the next 2 weeks. This way of thinking steals your options, it steals your peace, and it steals your chance to build a life on your own terms. Here's something most people don't realize. The system is designed to keep you in this cycle. Companies want you dependent on your paycheck. Credit card companies thrive when you live beyond your means. Advertisers constantly push you to spend more, convincing you that happiness is waiting in the next purchase. And before you know it, you're working not for your dreams, but to keep other people rich. But here's the good news. You don't have to play that game. You can step off the treadmill. You can break the cycle. The first step is awareness. You must clearly recognize the pattern. That's why Chapter 1 was so important. Facing the truth about your money gives you the clarity to see exactly where the trap is tightening around you. The second step is shifting your perspective. Instead of thinking like someone who is simply getting by, you must begin thinking like someone who is building something. People who remain stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle see money only as a tool for survival. People who escape it see money as a tool for freedom. One of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make is this. Stop asking, "Can I afford this right now?" and start asking, "Will this choice move me closer to my goals or keep me trapped?" That single question changes everything. Suddenly, you're no longer just reacting to life. You're making intentional decisions about where your money goes. Here's a simple example. Let's say you receive a small bonus at work. The old pattern would be to spend it immediately on something fun or convenient, a new gadget, a fancy dinner, or a weekend trip that feels great in the moment but keeps you exactly where you are. The new pattern is to pause and ask yourself, how can this money serve my long-term freedom? Maybe it goes toward paying down debt. Maybe it becomes part of your emergency fund. Maybe it's invested in a skill that increases your earning power. That choice might not feel exciting right now, but over time, it can change your life. Breaking the cycle also means building a financial buffer. When you live paycheck to paycheck, every unexpected expense feels like a disaster. The car breaks down, a bill arrives higher than expected, or a medical cost appears, and suddenly you're scrambling, stressed, and possibly taking on even more debt.
But by creating even a small emergency fund, you break that constant state of panic. You create breathing room, and breathing room is the first taste of real freedom. Still, let's be honest, breaking the cycle will not happen overnight. It requires discipline. It requires saying no to things you want today so that you can say yes to the life you want tomorrow. It means choosing a different path from many people around you who are still caught up in the same cycle. Some people may not understand your decisions. That's okay. You are not living for their approval. You are living for your future. Here's the promise I want you to remember. The moment you stop living only for the next paycheck, your entire life begins to change. You stop feeling like a slave to your job. You stop feeling controlled by bills and debt. You gain the power to plan, to dream, and to build something greater than simply getting by. So today, make a decision. Decide that you are finished with the cycle. Decide that you are ready to live differently, even if it feels difficult at first. Because while the paycheck-to-paycheck trap may feel like a prison, the key has always been in your hands. It's time to pick it up, unlock the door, and step into a new way of living, one where you control your money instead of your money controlling you. Freedom begins with a decision, a shift in mindset, and the willingness to take small, consistent steps in a new direction. Break the cycle now, and you place yourself on the path towards a future where paydays are no longer about survival. They simply become another step towards the life you've always wanted.
Chapter 3. Build a wealth mindset, not survival. Money is not only about numbers. It is also about the way you think about those numbers. Two people can earn the same income, yet one builds wealth while the other remains broke. Why? Because one has a wealth mindset while the other operates from a survival mindset. A survival mindset keeps your attention fixed on getting through the day, the week, or the month. It is reactive. Decisions are made from fear, urgency, and scarcity. When you receive your paycheck, your first thought is about which bills to pay and what might remain afterward. You tell yourself things like, "I'll never get ahead," or "as long as I cover the basics, I'll be fine." This kind of thinking keeps you trapped. You remain in constant defense mode, trying to survive rather than learning how to thrive. A wealth mindset works in a completely different way. It is proactive. It focuses on growth, possibility, and freedom. When you earn money, you do not think only about today. You think about how that money can help create a better tomorrow. Your decisions are guided by strategy rather than stress. You understand that every dollar you earn is like a seed. You can either consume it today or plant it so it grows into something far greater. Here's the truth. Money follows mindset. If you see yourself as someone who will always struggle, you will unconsciously create that reality. If you see yourself as someone capable of building wealth, you will begin making choices that move you in that direction. This is not magic, it is cause and effect. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. So, how do you shift from survival thinking to wealth thinking? It begins with awareness. Start noticing the thoughts you have about money. Do you feel anxious every time you check your account? Do you believe wealth is for other people but not for you? Do you tell yourself stories such as, "I'm just bad with money," or "I'll never be debt-free"? These thoughts act like invisible chains holding you back. The next step is to challenge those beliefs. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," try asking, "How can I afford this in a way that aligns with my goals?" Instead of saying, "I'll never get out of debt," tell yourself, "I am learning the skills to become debt-free." These small shifts matter.
They retrain your mind to search for solutions instead of remaining stuck in problems. Another powerful practice is to begin seeing money as a tool rather than a master. Most people allow money to control them. Their emotions rise and fall with their bank balance. When they have extra, they feel good. When they are short, they feel stressed and defeated. But money itself is neutral. It's like a hammer. You can build something with it, or you can destroy something with it. When you see money as a tool, you take back your power. You stop reacting and begin directing. Survival thinkers also focus on lack. They pay attention to what they do not have and dwell on it. Wealth thinkers focus on opportunity. They notice possibilities that others overlook. For example, a survival thinker might say, "I only make this much, so I'm stuck." A wealth thinker says, "I make this much right now, but here are 3 ways I can increase my income over time." The situation may be the same, but the perspective changes everything. This mindset shift does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that money challenges do not exist. It means facing them with a different attitude, one of strength and creativity. When a bill arrives higher than expected, a survival mindset panics. A wealth mindset calmly asks, "What adjustments can I make? What lesson can I learn from this?" Building a wealth mindset also means surrounding yourself with the right influences. If everyone around you constantly complains about money and believes success is impossible, it becomes easy to absorb that negativity. Instead, seek out books, podcasts, mentors, and communities that reinforce the belief that you can create wealth. The voices you listen to will shape the voice inside your own mind. Finally, commit yourself to long-term thinking. Survival thinkers chase instant gratification. They spend money today to feel better now, even if it costs them later. Wealth thinkers are willing to delay gratification because they see the larger picture. They understand that skipping a short-term pleasure today can create enormous freedom tomorrow. Here's a simple example. Imagine you receive an extra $200. A survival mindset says, "Great, now I can finally buy that new gadget or go out for dinner." A wealth mindset says, "This $200 could reduce my debt, strengthen my emergency fund, or be invested to grow over time." The decision may seem small in the moment, but multiplied over years, it becomes the difference between remaining stuck and building true freedom. Remember this, wealth is created in the mind before it ever appears in the bank. If you want to change your financial reality, you must first change the way you think about money. Begin seeing yourself as someone capable of building wealth. Make choices today that your future self will be grateful for. The paycheck-to-paycheck trap begins in the mind, and so does your escape. Shift your thoughts and your actions will follow. Shift your actions and your results will transform. Build a wealth mindset, not survival, and you will open the door to a life where money is no longer a source of stress, but a tool for freedom and possibility.
Chapter 4. Track every dollar like your freedom depends on it. If you want to take control of your money, you must know exactly where it goes. Not approximately, not vaguely, but precisely. Most people believe they understand their spending habits fairly well until they actually begin tracking them. That is when the truth reveals itself, and it is often surprising. Think about it this way. You cannot win a game if you don't know the score, and you cannot fix what you refuse to measure. Tracking your money is not about being obsessive or restricting every purchase. It's about awareness, and awareness is power. When you know where every dollar goes, you can make informed decisions instead of relying on guesswork and hope. Here's why this matters so much. Money that is not tracked disappears. It quietly slips through your fingers without you even realizing it.
It shows up in random coffees, streaming subscriptions you forgot you signed up for, or impulse purchases at the store. Individually, these expenses seem small, almost harmless, but over time, they accumulate into hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year. Money that could have been building your future instead fades away through unconscious spending. Imagine your money as water flowing through a pipe. If there are leaks, even tiny ones, over time you lose gallons. Eventually, the pipe runs dry. The same principle applies to your finances. If you do not identify and seal those leaks, you will always feel as though you are running out, no matter how much you earn. The first step in tracking your money is simple. Write down everything. Record every single dollar that comes in and every single dollar that goes out. No exceptions. Do not focus only on the major expenses like rent or car payment. Include the $3 coffee, the $12 lunch, and the $5 app subscription. Those small costs are often what quietly undermine your progress. You can track your spending with a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. The tool itself is far less important than your consistency. What truly matters is capturing the truth. At the end of the month, review the numbers carefully. Really study them. You may discover that you are spending far more on things like dining out or entertainment than you realized. You may also begin to see patterns that explain why you often feel broke, even when you shouldn't be. This is where the transformation begins. Once you see where your money is going, you can begin telling it where to go. That's the difference between drifting and directing. Most people simply drift through their financial lives. Their money comes in, it goes out, and they hope something remains at the end. But people who build wealth give every dollar a purpose. They decide in advance what their money will do, whether it will pay bills, grow savings, fund investments, or support a planned luxury. Think of yourself as the CEO of your financial life. A CEO does not allow resources to be spent randomly. They create a plan. They allocate carefully. They understand that every dollar is like an employee that needs direction. When you adopt this mindset, your money begins working for you instead of quietly disappearing on autopilot. Here's a simple exercise to practice over the next 30 days. Commit to tracking every dollar you spend. At the end of each day, write everything down. Even if you spent only $1 on a snack, record it. By the end of the month, you will have a clear picture of your spending habits. That picture may surprise you. It might even feel a little uncomfortable. But that discomfort is a sign of growth. It means you are waking up to reality, and reality is where change begins. The goal of tracking your money is not to make you feel deprived or guilty. The goal is control. Once you understand where your money goes, you gain the power to choose. You can reduce spending on things that don't matter and redirect that money toward what truly does, your freedom, your security, and your future. Over time, this practice will transform not only your finances, but also your relationship with money. You'll move from feeling as if money is a mysterious and uncontrollable force to feeling like the person firmly in charge. And that feeling is priceless. Remember this: money that is not tracked always disappears, but money that is tracked carries power. If you want to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap, you must become intensely aware of every dollar. Treat each one like a soldier in your army, each assigned a mission to accomplish. When you track your money with intention, you create a clear path toward financial independence. And step by step, dollar by dollar, you move closer to a life of freedom.
Chapter 5. Hidden Money Leaks and Bad Habits. You work hard for your money. You put in long hours, manage stress, and sacrifice your time and energy every single day. So why does it often feel like your paycheck disappears the moment it arrives? Why does it seem that no matter how much you earn, it is never quite enough?
The answer is often not found in the large, obvious expenses. It is hidden in the small, unnoticed leaks, quietly draining your wallet. Think of your finances like a bucket of water. You keep filling it by working and earning, but if there are holes in the bottom, the water will keep draining out. It doesn't matter how hard you work to pour more in. Until the leaks are fixed, you will remain stuck. These leaks appear in many forms. They are the subscriptions you rarely use but continue paying for each month. They are the impulse purchases you make when you are bored, tired, or stressed. They are the delivery fees, late fees, and bank charges you barely notice until they've quietly added up to hundreds of dollars over the course of a year. And the most frustrating part is that most of the time, you don't even realize these leaks exist. They fade into the background noise of everyday life. This is why awareness is so powerful. Once you begin tracking every dollar, as we discussed in the previous chapter, you start to see patterns emerge. You might notice the daily $4 coffee that seems harmless but adds up to more than $1,000 a year. You may see the gym membership you haven't used for 6 months continuing to withdraw money from your account. You may realize just how much food delivery and convenience purchases are quietly consuming your budget. Here's the key point. None of these individual expenses are inherently bad. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good cup of coffee or streaming your favorite shows. The problem arises when these expenses become automatic, unconscious, and disconnected from your larger goals. When spending happens without awareness, your money becomes scattered instead of directed. The solution is not about eliminating everything enjoyable from your life. It's about making conscious choices. If something truly brings you joy and adds value to your life, keep it, but be intentional about it. The goal is to remove the mindless spending that contributes little to your overall happiness or progress. Here's a simple 3-step process to reduce hidden leaks. Step 1. Identify. Review your expenses line by line. Look carefully for anything you are paying for without using or appreciating. Be honest with yourself. Even the smallest charges deserve attention. Step 2. Evaluate. Ask yourself a clear question. Does this expense support the life I want to create? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Remember, every dollar you free up becomes a resource you can redirect toward your financial freedom. Step 3. Eliminate or reduce. Cancel subscriptions you no longer use. Contact service providers and ask about lowering your rates. Set reminders to avoid late fees. Combine errands to reduce fuel costs and delivery expenses. These actions may seem small individually, but together they create powerful change over time. Now let's talk about habits, because financial leaks are not only about money, they are also about behavior. Many people develop habits that quietly keep them stuck. Shopping when you feel stressed or bored, ordering takeout automatically instead of cooking at home, ignoring bills until they become overdue and bring additional penalties. These habits cost more than money. They cost you peace of mind. Changing habits takes time, but it always begins with awareness. The next time you feel the urge to make an impulse purchase, pause for a moment and ask yourself a simple question. Am I solving a real need, or am I just soothing an emotion? That pause is powerful. It transforms a mindless reaction into a thoughtful decision. Here's an important truth. Small leaks can sink a great ship. Many people believe that earning more money will solve all their financial problems, but if the leaks remain, a higher income simply means more money flowing out. Wealth is created by how much you earn. It is created by how much you keep and grow. As you begin to eliminate hidden leaks, something remarkable happens. You start to feel lighter and more in control. The constant feeling that money is slipping through your fingers begins to fade. You start to see the progress you've been hoping for. And each time you redirect a wasted dollar toward your goals, you move one step closer to escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. Remember this: discipline is not about restriction, it's about liberation. When you remove what is unnecessary, you create room for what truly matters. So take a moment, examine your spending honestly, and begin sealing the leaks. You may be surprised by how quickly small changes grow into meaningful results. Results that can reshape your financial future for years to come.
Chapter 6. Create a bulletproof emergency fund. Life has a way of surprising you. Some surprises are positive, like a promotion at work or an unexpected opportunity. But others can shake your world. A sudden medical bill, a car breaking down without warning, or a job loss you never anticipated. Here's the truth. Without a safety net, those moments can pull you right back into the paycheck-to-paycheck trap you've been working so hard to escape. An emergency fund is your shield against life's unexpected storms. It is not glamorous, it will not impress your friends, you probably won't see it trending on social media, yet it is one of the most powerful financial tools you will ever build. Because when you have an emergency fund, you gain something incredibly valuable: peace of mind. Imagine this situation. Your car suddenly requires a $700 repair. Without an emergency fund, that expense might go on a credit card, leading to debt, interest, and even more stress. But if you have cash set aside, you can handle the situation calmly. No panic, no scrambling, no sinking deeper into financial quicksand. You simply take care of the problem and continue with your life. That is the power of preparation. Now, let's be clear. An emergency fund is not meant for vacations, impulse purchases, or the shiny new gadget you've been considering. It's reserved for genuine emergencies, medical expenses, job loss, urgent home repairs, or anything that could seriously disrupt your life if you did not have the money available. Think of it as your break glass in case of emergency fund. So, how much should you save? Ideally, 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. That number may sound overwhelming, especially if you're currently struggling to get ahead. But don't let the size of the goal discourage you. Start small. Your first milestone might be $500. After reaching that, aim for $1,000 and continue building from there. Progress matters far more than perfection. Here's a simple way to begin. Open a separate savings account specifically for emergencies. Don't mix it with your regular checking account. When the money's out of sight, it becomes harder to spend. Each time you receive your paycheck, set aside a small amount, even if it's only $20 or $30. At first, it may feel slow, but those small deposits will grow over time. If you ever receive extra money, a tax refund, a work bonus, or even a cash gift, consider placing at least part of it into your emergency fund. Think of it as a gift to your future self, the gift of stability and calm when life becomes unpredictable. There's another important benefit that people often overlook. An emergency fund doesn't only protect your finances, it protects your decision-making. When you have no safety net, fear tends to take control. You may remain stuck in a job you dislike because you can't risk missing a paycheck. You might make desperate choices, such as taking a high-interest loan or selling something valuable just to pay a bill. But with an emergency fund, you gain the ability to breathe. You can make decisions from a position of strength rather than panic. Building this fund also creates a powerful psychological shift. Every dollar you save sends a message to yourself. I'm in control. I'm preparing for my future. I'm not helpless against circumstances. That confidence begins to influence other areas of your life as well. You might be wondering whether you should build an emergency fund first or focus on paying off debt.
The best approach is to do both, but begin with a small emergency fund first. Even $500 provides a buffer that prevents you from relying on credit cards when something unexpected happens. After that, you can focus aggressively on paying down debt while continuing to grow your savings gradually. The most important rule is to treat your emergency fund as sacred. If you ever need to use it, your next priority should be replenishing it. Do not allow it to remain empty. Think of it as a protective wall around your financial life. If a section of the wall becomes damaged, you repair it immediately. Here's a challenge for you this week. Open a separate account and deposit something, anything, into it. Even $20 can become the first brick in your wall of security. Then commit to adding to it consistently. The amount doesn't matter as much as the habit. Over time, you'll notice a powerful change. Emergencies will no longer feel like disasters. They'll simply be obstacles along the road, unpleasant perhaps, but manageable. That sense of calm frees your energy to focus on larger goals, such as building wealth and designing a life of genuine freedom. Remember this. Freedom is not only about having money, it's about having choices, and choices come from preparation. A strong emergency fund gives you the confidence to face life directly, no matter what surprises appear. It becomes the foundation on which the rest of your financial journey is built. Begin building yours today, and tonight you'll sleep a little better knowing you've taken a major step towards escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck trap for good. Chapter 7. Kill debt before it kills your dreams. Debt is like quicksand. At first, it seems harmless, just a small step onto soft ground. A credit card here, a car loan there, maybe a personal loan to handle an emergency. But slowly, often without noticing, you begin to sink. Each payment pulls you down a little further. Every interest charge adds more weight. Before long, you find yourself trapped, struggling to keep your head above the surface, while your dreams drift farther and farther away. Here is the difficult truth. As long as debt controls you, true freedom remains out of reach. It is nearly impossible to build lasting wealth while large portions of your paycheck are sent to banks and lenders every month. Debt does not only cost you money, it costs peace of mind, it costs choices, and it costs time. Valuable hours of your life spent working to pay for decisions made months or even years earlier. The first step to destroying debt is to stop treating it as something normal. Modern culture often suggests that debt is simply part of life. Car loans, student loans, credit cards, it's all presented as a standard rite of passage. But the reality is different. Debt is not a path to freedom. It is a trap. And the longer you accept it as unavoidable, the longer you remain stuck. So let's move to practical action. You do not have to carry this burden forever. You can break free, but it requires focus and determination. Step 1. Stop adding to the pile. This may sound obvious, yet it is where many people fail. You cannot climb out of a hole if you keep digging deeper. That means no new loans, no new credit card balances, and no "I'll pay it off later" excuses. From this moment forward, commit to living on what you truly earn. Step 2. Know exactly what you owe. Debt often feels overwhelming because it remains vague and hidden in the background. Bring it into the open. Write down every debt you have, the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. It might feel uncomfortable, but clarity gives you power. You cannot fight what you cannot see. Step 3. Choose your strategy. There are two widely used methods for paying off debt. The debt snowball method focuses on paying off the smallest debt first, while continuing to make minimum payments on the others. Once the smallest balance is gone, you move on to the next one. These quick wins help build motivation and momentum. The debt avalanche method focuses on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. This approach saves the most money over time. Both methods are effective. What matters most is choosing one approach and sticking to it. Step 4. Go on the offensive. You are not simply paying off debt, you are declaring war on it. Look for ways to generate extra money to put toward your balances. Reduce unnecessary spending. Sell items you no longer need. Take on a temporary side hustle if possible. Every extra dollar becomes a tool in your fight for financial freedom. Remember that paying off debt is not only a mathematical process, it's emotional as well. It's about reclaiming control over your life. When you make that final payment, you do more than erase numbers from a statement. You remove stress, you remove limits, you remove the constant feeling that you are always falling behind. During this journey, there will be moments of frustration. Progress may feel slow, and you might feel tempted to give up. That's normal. When those moments arrive, remind yourself why you started. Picture what life will look like when you're completely free from debt. Imagine the relief of keeping your entire paycheck instead of watching it vanish as soon as it arrives. Here's another powerful motivation. Every dollar you send toward debt today could eventually become a dollar building your future. Think about a $300 monthly car payment. Once that obligation disappears, that same $300 can be saved, invested, or used to design the life you truly want. Debt does not only steal from your present, it steals from your future. It's also important to understand that not all debt is the same. There's a difference between strategic debt and toxic debt. A mortgage on a reasonably priced home or a low-interest business loan may be considered strategic because it's tied to an appreciating asset or an opportunity that generates income. But consumer debt, credit cards, payday loans, or financing for items that lose value immediately is toxic. That's the kind of debt you must eliminate as quickly as possible. Here's your action step today. Choose one debt and begin attacking it immediately. Even if you can only add $20 extra to your payment this month, do it. The simple act of moving forward creates momentum. Debt is not conquered through one dramatic leap. It is defeated through steady, relentless action. Remember this: debt thrives when it keeps you tired, distracted, and dependent. But you were not meant to live your life chained to monthly payments and interest rates. You were meant to live freely. So eliminate your debt before it destroys your dreams. The journey may not be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. Every payment you make is a victory. Every balance you erase brings you closer to the life you deserve. And when the day finally arrives that you are completely debt-free, you will look back and realize that what you truly gained was not just money, it was power, freedom, and a future that belongs entirely to you. Chapter 8. Learn the skills that make you irreplaceable. Here is something most people fail to understand. Your income today is a direct reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. If you feel trapped earning the same paycheck year after year, it is not because the world is unfair or the economy is working against you. It is because the skills you currently possess are being valued at a certain level. The encouraging truth is this: you can change that. You can grow, adapt, and develop abilities that make you so valuable that opportunities begin chasing you instead of the other way around. Think of it this way. Picture two individuals performing the exact same job. One does only the bare minimum, just enough to remain employed. The other invests time mastering new tools, solving larger problems, and offering ideas that create meaningful impact. When the moment comes for a raise, a promotion, or a better opportunity, who do you believe stands out? The person who has made themselves irreplaceable. If you want to break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, you cannot rely solely on cutting costs. Saving money and sealing financial leaks certainly matter, but there's a limit to how much you can reduce expenses. There is no limit to how much you can earn when you concentrate on increasing your value. The shift begins when you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a problem solver. Companies, clients, and entire industries ultimately pay for one thing above all else: solutions. If you can resolve bigger, more complex, or more urgent problems, you will never need to fear income insecurity. Your skills will keep you in demand, even when others are struggling. So how do you begin? Start by identifying which skills carry the greatest value in today's world. These may be technical abilities such as coding, data analysis, or digital marketing. They may be leadership qualities like communication, negotiation, and team management. Or they may be specialized competencies within your industry that only a few have truly mastered. The objective is to find the intersection between what the market needs and what genuinely excites you to learn. Once you've identified those skills, turn learning into a daily discipline. Even 30 minutes of focused study each day can transform your future over the course of a year. Read books, enroll in online courses, watch tutorials, and practice in real-world situations. Do not simply consume information, apply it. True mastery is built through action, not knowledge alone. There's another crucial element to this equation: soft skills. Many people underestimate their power, yet they are often the deciding factor in who advances. Emotional intelligence, public speaking, and leadership are invaluable. You may be the most technically capable person in the room, but if you cannot clearly communicate your ideas or inspire others to act, your influence will always remain limited. Remember this powerful truth: you are your greatest investment. Markets rise and fall, economies shift, but the skills you cultivate can never be taken from you. When you devote time and energy to increasing your value, you create a form of personal wealth that compounds over time. Of course, there's a challenge. Growth demands discomfort. Acquiring new skills requires stepping beyond your comfort zone. It involves making mistakes, feeling awkward, and sometimes experiencing failure. That's perfectly acceptable. Every expert once began as a beginner. The distinction between those who remain stuck and those who ascend is simple. The ones who rise persist, even when it feels uncomfortable. Here's a practical step you can take immediately. Identify one skill that, if mastered, would significantly increase your earning potential. Perhaps it's a high-demand technical ability. Perhaps it's public speaking, enabling you to lead with confidence. Perhaps it's negotiation, allowing you to close larger deals or secure better salaries. Whatever it may be, commit to working on it consistently for the next 6 months. As your skills expand, something remarkable occurs. Your confidence grows. Opportunities begin to appear that you could not have imagined before. You stop feeling confined by your current job or paycheck because you recognize your capacity to create value wherever you go. This growth does more than increase your earnings. It provides leverage. When you become irreplaceable, you gain the power to choose. You can negotiate higher compensation. You can transition to a better company. You can even start your own business if that's your ambition. Instead of being subject to circumstances, you become the one in control. Understand this clearly. No one is coming to rescue you. No one will hand you freedom on a silver platter. Escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle is not about luck, it's about growth. It's about becoming so skilled, so valuable, that the marketplace cannot overlook you. Every hour spent scrolling through your phone or watching television is an hour that could be invested in yourself. 1 year from now, you could look back with pride, knowing you strengthened your future. Or you could look back with regret, wishing you had begun today. The decision belongs to you. Stop viewing yourself as merely an employee collecting a paycheck. See yourself instead as a growing asset, someone who is continually increasing in value. When you focus on learning the skills that make you irreplaceable, you won't simply escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. You will rise so far above it that you'll wonder how you ever lived that way in the first place.
Chapter 9. Stop trading time for pennies. There comes a moment when you realize that no matter how hard you work, there are only so many hours in a day. You cannot continue exchanging your time for money forever because time is a limited resource. Once an hour passes, it is gone for good. Here's the truth most people avoid. If you earn money only by the hour or by the paycheck, you have placed a ceiling on your potential. Think about it. You can take on 2 jobs, accept extra shifts, or hustle through your weekends. Yes, you might increase your income slightly, but eventually you will reach a limit. There are only 24 hours in a day. If your earnings depend entirely on those hours, you will always be capped. Even worse, you will exhaust yourself trying to move ahead. That is not freedom, that is exhaustion disguised as ambition. Wealthy individuals operate by a different set of rules. They focus on leverage. They build systems, products, and opportunities that allow them to earn even when they are not actively working. Instead of being paid solely for their time, they create value that continues to generate income again and again. Here's the essential shift in mindset. Stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder. Workers ask, how much will I be paid for this hour? Builders ask, how can I create something once that pays me repeatedly? This is how people break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. They stop depending on effort alone and begin applying strategy. You've likely heard the phrase, work smarter, not harder. It may sound like a cliché, yet it holds deep truth. Simply working harder will not transform your life if you are moving in the wrong direction. Step back and examine how you use your time. Are you dedicating it only to tasks that offer immediate, short-term rewards? Or are you investing some of it in building assets that can reward you for years to come? Consider an example. Imagine you're a freelance graphic designer. When you complete client projects, you are paid once for each one. But what if you also created design templates and sold them online? Suddenly, you have built something a single time that can be sold thousands of times. Your effort in one moment produces continuing income. That is leverage. The same principle applies elsewhere. Perhaps you're a teacher who tutors students individually. That's valuable work. But what if you recorded your lessons and offered them as a course? Or maybe you work within a company and recognize a problem that could be solved with a new process or tool. If you develop it, you are no longer just an employee. You're a problem solver with distinct value. This does not mean you must resign from your job tomorrow or launch a massive business overnight. It begins on a smaller scale. Set aside time each week to consider how you can multiply your efforts. Perhaps it means learning a skill that positions you for a higher-paying role. Perhaps it involves creating a side project that earns income while you sleep. The goal is to escape the trap of one-to-one exchanges of time for money. Remember this, money is infinite, but your time is not. Too many people sacrifice their most precious resource, their hours, their energy, their health, simply to earn a few additional dollars. Then, when they finally accumulate some money, they lack the time or energy to enjoy it. That is a lose-lose outcome. When you build leveraged income, you reverse that pattern. You create a reality where your time works for you, even when you are not working. This may come through investments, a business, intellectual property, or systems you have built. The specific vehicle matters less than the mindset. How can I multiply my effort instead of letting it vanish? Naturally, this transition requires patience. In the beginning, it may feel like added work without immediate reward. You may devote hours to learning a new skill or constructing something that does not generate income right away. That's normal. Think of it as planting seeds. You don't harvest fruit the same day you plant a tree. Over time, those seeds grow into something that sustains you for years.
As you embark on this path, some people will not understand. They may say, "Why waste time on that? Just find a better job." Don't be distracted. Most individuals remain stuck trading time for pennies because they have never been shown another approach. You are choosing to step beyond that cycle, and that requires vision. Never forget, your time is your most valuable asset. Protect it carefully. Stop giving it away cheaply. If you intend to build wealth, concentrate on creating value that exists beyond your direct effort. Develop systems, products, and opportunities that compensate you while you rest, travel, or spend time with those you care about. When you stop trading time for pennies and begin creating leveraged income, you do more than increase your earnings. You buy back your freedom. You reclaim your life, and that is worth far more than any paycheck could ever provide. Chapter 10. Build multiple streams of income. If there is one lesson life teaches repeatedly, it is this: depending on a single source of income is dangerous. Consider it carefully. When you rely on one job and one paycheck and something goes wrong, whether you are laid off, the company downsizes, or the economy shifts, your entire financial foundation can collapse overnight. It is like trying to stand on one leg and expecting to remain balanced forever. Most people live with this risk every day without fully acknowledging it. They reassure themselves, "My job is secure, I have been here for years." Yet the reality is that no position is entirely safe. Companies change, industries evolve, and sometimes through no fault of your own, your income can disappear in an instant. That is why building multiple streams of income is not merely wise, it is essential for genuine financial freedom. Imagine your income as a river. If only one stream feeds it and that stream dries up, you are left vulnerable. But if several streams flow into it, losing one does not devastate you. The others continue to sustain you. This is how financially free individuals operate. They do not rely on a single paycheck. They construct a network of income sources that support them regardless of circumstances. Here's the encouraging part. Creating multiple streams of income does not mean juggling 5 jobs or working 80-hour weeks. It requires strategy, not exhaustion. Some streams demand active involvement, such as a side business or freelance work. Others can be more passive, like investments, royalties, or products you create once and sell repeatedly. The objective is to develop a combination that expands over time, gradually reducing reliance on any single source. Let us explore practical examples. If you hold a full-time position, that's your primary stream. Excellent. Now consider adding a small side hustle built around your skills or passions. Perhaps you tutor online, sell handmade goods, or offer consulting within your area of expertise. Even if it generates only a few $100s each month, it becomes a meaningful second stream. Next, think about investments. This might include stocks, real estate, or even something as simple as a high-yield savings account. The principle is to allow your money to work for you. Initially, the returns may appear modest, but over time they expand and can evolve into a dependable source of passive income. Another path is creating digital products. You might write an ebook, design a course, or develop a resource people are willing to purchase. You invest the effort once, and it continues generating income without constant involvement. This is how you transition from exchanging time for money to building assets that compensate you repeatedly. There is no need to begin everything simultaneously. Attempting to create too many streams at once can lead to overwhelm. Instead, concentrate on establishing one new stream at a time. Develop it, strengthen it, and allow it to grow before adding another. Over the years, these streams accumulate, forming a financial safety net that no single setback can dismantle. Remember something vital. Multiple streams of income are not solely about earning more money. They provide freedom and peace of mind. When you have several ways to earn, you no longer live in constant anxiety over what if. What if I lose my job? What if the economy slows? What if something unexpected occurs? Those fears lose their grip because you know you have alternatives. Building additional streams of income also transforms your relationship with work. When you're not entirely dependent on one paycheck, your confidence rises. You can negotiate improved compensation. You can walk away from unhealthy environments. You can pursue opportunities aligned with your aspirations instead of holding on to a job out of fear. Naturally, creating multiple income streams demands effort. It involves learning, planning, and at times sacrificing leisure in the short term. Think of it as planting a garden. In the beginning, it's simply seeds in the ground. You water them, care for them, and guard them. With time, they grow into something that nourishes you for years ahead. Picture waking up one morning knowing your expenses are covered by income streams you have built. Imagine working because you choose to, not because you are forced to. That's the essence of financial independence. It's not defined by millions in the bank, but by security, stability, and options. So take action today. Assess your skills, interests, and available resources. Identify one way, no matter how small, to create an additional income stream. Commit to it. Develop it. Once it's flowing, begin the next. The more streams you establish, the less control life's surprises hold over you. Instead of living in fear of losing everything, you'll move forward with quiet confidence, knowing you have constructed a strong and resilient foundation. That is not merely mastery of money, that's true freedom. Chapter 11. Master the Art of Saving and Investing. Earning money matters, but keeping it and growing it is where true financial freedom begins. Too many people labor for their paycheck, only to see it vanish as quickly as it arrives. They save a little here and there, perhaps placing a few dollars into a random account and hoping it somehow multiplies. But hope is not a strategy. If you want to create lasting wealth, you must learn to approach saving and investing with clarity and intention. Let us begin with saving. Saving creates stability. It shields you from life's unexpected turns. You already understand the value of an emergency fund, yet saving extends beyond that. It forms the base that allows you to invest confidently and seize opportunities without fear. Think of saving as the firm, steady ground beneath your financial home. Without that foundation, everything else becomes unstable. The first step toward mastering saving is automation. Most people attempt to save whatever remains at the end of the month, and in reality, very little ever remains. Instead, reverse the process. Pay yourself first. The moment your paycheck reaches your account, transfer a percentage directly into savings before spending anything. Even if you begin with just 5%, the discipline matters more than the amount. Over time, you can raise that percentage and watch your savings expand like a snowball gathering momentum downhill. Now, consider this. Do not save aimlessly. Your savings should serve a purpose. Perhaps you are preparing to purchase a home, launch a business, travel the world, or simply secure peace of mind. When your savings connect to a clear goal, motivation becomes stronger. You are not merely setting money aside, you are constructing a future you can envision and feel. Yet saving alone will not create wealth. Inflation gradually erodes the value of idle money. That is why the next step is essential: investing. If saving provides stability, investing delivers growth. It transforms your earned income into an engine that continues working for you, even while you rest. Investing can feel intimidating, especially if it is unfamiliar territory. Many assume it belongs only to the wealthy or to financial experts on Wall Street. The truth is far simpler. Anyone can invest. You do not need vast sums to begin. You need knowledge, patience, and a commitment to the long term. At its core, investing means purchasing assets that increase in value over time: stocks, bonds, real estate, among others. When approached wisely, your money grows through the power of compounding. Compounding operates like a snowball effect. In the beginning, progress appears slow and modest, but as years pass, growth becomes significant. Success does not depend on perfectly timing the market or chasing rapid gains. It depends on steady consistency and allowing time to carry the weight. For beginners, one of the most practical strategies is investing in broad, diversified funds, such as index funds or ETFs. These distribute risk across numerous companies or assets, reducing exposure to major losses. You do not need to identify the next breakout stock. You simply participate in overall growth over time. Consider this perspective. Every dollar spent today is permanently gone. Every dollar invested holds the potential to return multiplied. It resembles planting seeds in a garden. If you consume the seeds, they disappear. If you plant them, they grow into trees that produce fruit year after year. Naturally, investing requires discipline. Markets rise and fall. There will be moments when values decline and fear tempts you to withdraw. Resist that impulse. Those who build wealth remain steady during uncertainty and keep their attention fixed on the long horizon. As your confidence increases, you may explore additional investments: real estate, businesses, or even developing your own products and intellectual property. Move carefully. Expand your knowledge gradually, just as you are steadily constructing your financial future. Remember this vital principle: saving safeguards you, but investing liberates you. Saving ensures you do not move backward. Investing propels you forward. Both are essential. Together, they generate unstoppable momentum. Take action now. Automate your savings. Dedicate a portion of your income to regular investments, even if the amount is modest. Continue learning, remain consistent, and allow time to work in your favor. When you master saving and investing, you are no longer laboring solely for money. Your money begins working for you. That is when the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle truly ends. That is when you start building a legacy designed to endure for generations.
Chapter 12. Protect what you've built. Building wealth demands effort, discipline, and time. Yet here is what many people overlook. It can all vanish in a single moment if it is not properly protected. You may spend years climbing out of debt, saving diligently, and investing wisely, only to have one unexpected event erase everything you worked so hard to create. That is why safeguarding what you have built is just as important as building it in the first place. Imagine your finances as a house. You poured the foundation by establishing an emergency fund. You raised the walls through careful saving and investing. Now it is time to place a roof over it to keep everything secure. Without that roof, one powerful storm could sweep through and destroy it all. The first step in protection is straightforward, yet frequently ignored: insurance. Many view insurance as merely another expense, but in reality, it is a shield. Health insurance, car insurance, renters or homeowners insurance, these are not luxuries, they are necessities. No matter how cautious you may be, life remains unpredictable. A single medical emergency or accident can cost tens of thousands of dollars. With appropriate coverage, you are not left scrambling or pushed into overwhelming debt.
Protection extends beyond health and property. If others rely on your income, a spouse, children, or aging parents, life insurance becomes essential. It's not about you, it's about safeguarding the people you care about. Even a modest policy can ensure your family is supported if the unthinkable occurs. Now consider identity and financial security. We live in a digital era, and with it come new vulnerabilities. Scams, fraud, and identity theft are more prevalent than ever. Make it a routine to review your bank accounts and credit reports. Use strong passwords and enable two-factor authentication. These actions may feel minor or inconvenient, but they can spare you significant stress and substantial losses in the future. Another vital layer of protection is legal planning. It may sound complex, yet it simply ensures your wishes are respected and your assets are distributed according to your intentions. A basic will or trust can prevent unnecessary tension and hardship for your family. If you own a business or hold major investments, having proper legal documentation in place becomes even more critical. Then there is the need to protect yourself from yourself. At times, the greatest risk to your wealth is not disaster or fraud, it's poor decision-making. As progress becomes visible, the temptation to relax and overspend grows stronger. You may feel you have earned it or deserve indulgence. Enjoying your money is healthy, but without limits, it's easy to slip back into old patterns. One effective strategy is to establish personal financial rules. Decide in advance what portion of additional income will go towards saving or investing. Set a maximum percentage for non-essential spending. These guidelines function as guardrails, keeping you aligned with your goals even when emotions intensify. Diversification adds another layer of protection. Avoid concentrating everything in one place, whether that's a single investment, a single job, or even a single bank account. Spread your risk. If one area experiences difficulty, the others can provide stability. Finally, safeguard your wealth by continually expanding your knowledge. The financial landscape constantly evolves. Tax regulations change, new opportunities emerge, and risks shift. Commit to ongoing learning. Read books, listen to podcasts, take courses. The more informed you become, the more difficult it is for anyone or anything to exploit you. Here's the truth. Protection is not thrilling. It doesn't deliver the same excitement as watching investments grow or income rise, yet it offers something far more valuable: peace of mind. When you know your financial life is protected, you rest easier. You make choices with assurance. You stop dwelling on what if and begin concentrating on building the future you envision. Take action today. Review your insurance policies. Strengthen the security of your accounts. Put essential legal documents in place. Create clear rules to prevent overspending. Do whatever is necessary to add that protective roof to your financial house. Wealth is not solely about generating money. It's about preserving it, defending it, and ensuring it grows safely over time. When you protect what you have built, you are not only securing your own future, you are establishing a legacy designed to endure for generations. Chapter 13. Adopt the wealth habits of the successful. Success leaves clues. If your goal is to build lasting wealth, you do not have to solve everything alone. You can observe the habits of those who have already achieved it and follow their example. The gap between living paycheck to paycheck and attaining genuine financial freedom often lies in daily choices, not one-time decisions, not lucky breaks, but habits. Wealthy individuals do not behave differently only when making major financial moves. They think differently and they live differently, day after day, in small and consistent ways. In the moment, these habits may not appear dramatic. Over time, however, they compound into remarkable results. Begin with the most fundamental habit, intentional spending. Successful people are purposeful with their money. They do not spend simply because something is trendy or because others are doing it. Before making a purchase, they ask themselves, does this align with my goals? Does this add genuine value to my life? If the answer is no, they walk away, no matter how appealing the temptation may be. This is not about being cheap. It is about being wise. Every dollar saved from unnecessary spending becomes a dollar invested in the future. The next habit is consistent saving and investing. Wealthy individuals do not save and invest only when it feels convenient. They automate it. A portion of their income flows directly into savings and investments each month without exception. It is non-negotiable. This steady practice builds momentum. Even if the amounts begin modestly, consistently paying yourself first creates a snowball effect that expands year after year. Another powerful habit is lifelong learning. Those who create and sustain wealth never stop growing. They read books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to think on a larger scale. They understand a simple truth. The more they learn, the more they can earn, and the better they can safeguard what they have built. This growth extends beyond financial knowledge. They continuously refine their leadership, communication, and problem-solving abilities. Wealthy individuals also practice delayed gratification. While many chase immediate pleasure, the newest gadget, the latest car, the extravagant vacation, the successful are willing to wait. They recognize that short-term restraint leads to long-term reward. This does not mean they avoid enjoyment. It means they enjoy life on their own terms, free from debt, stress, and guilt. For instance, rather than financing a luxury car with a large loan, they may choose to invest their money first and purchase it outright later without compromising financial stability. Clear goal setting is another critical habit. The wealthy do not drift aimlessly, hoping circumstances improve. They establish specific, measurable goals and design plans to achieve them. They write these goals down, revisit them frequently, and adjust when necessary. This clarity provides direction and focus. Without defined goals, it is easy to lose time, energy, and money on distractions. Equally important is the discipline of tracking progress. Successful individuals know precisely where their money goes, what their net worth is, and how close they are to their objectives. They refuse to operate in uncertainty. They monitor their progress as an athlete tracks performance, not to create stress, but to maintain motivation and accountability. One habit that may surprise you is prioritizing energy and health. Wealth extends beyond finances. It includes the physical and mental capacity to enjoy the life you create. Many successful people place high value on sleep, exercise, and self-care. They understand that burnout breeds poor decisions, and poor decisions can dismantle even the strongest financial structure. Finally, wealthy individuals cultivate generosity and gratitude. This may seem unexpected, yet giving is a powerful wealth habit. It reinforces the understanding that money is a tool, not a master. It keeps greed in check and fosters balance. Gratitude shifts attention from scarcity to abundance, focusing on what you possess rather than what you lack. Here is the encouraging truth. You do not need wealth to begin practicing these habits. In reality, these habits are what generate wealth over time. You can start today, regardless of your current financial position. Begin small. Choose one habit and commit to mastering it. Then introduce another, and then another. Consider where you could be in 5 or 10 years if you begin now. Your finances will grow stronger, your mindset will sharpen, your life will become more stable and rewarding. Wealth is not constructed overnight, but it is built daily through the decisions you make, the routines you establish, and the discipline you cultivate. Remember, habits are like seeds. What you plant today determines the harvest you gather tomorrow. Choose carefully. Adopt the habits of the successful. In time, you will not only transform your bank account, you will transform your entire future. Chapter 14. Teach money wisdom to your family. Mastering money is not only about improving your own life, it is about ending the cycle of financial struggle for the generations that follow. Too many families repeat the same patterns again and again simply because no one ever showed them a different way. Parents avoid discussing money because it feels uncomfortable. Children grow up uncertain, and the pattern of living paycheck to paycheck continues. But you have the ability to change that. You can become the person in your family who plants the seeds of financial understanding. When you learn these principles and share them with those you love, you are not merely helping them make better decisions, you are offering a gift that can shape their entire future. Begin with this truth. Conversations about money do not have to be frightening. Many of us were raised to believe that discussing money is impolite. Perhaps your parents argued about bills behind closed doors, or perhaps money was never mentioned at all. That silence breeds shame. It makes money seem mysterious, overwhelming, even dangerous. The first step in changing that pattern is bringing money into the open. Speak about it calmly, honestly, and without judgment. If you have children, begin early. Teach them that money is simply a tool, nothing more and nothing less. It is not something to fear, nor does it define their worth. When children grow up with a healthy perspective on money, they tend to make wiser choices as adults. One of the most valuable lessons you can share is delayed gratification. We live in a world that offers instant purchases, instant entertainment, instant results. Yet real wealth is built slowly and steadily. Demonstrate the importance of waiting, saving, and planning. Instead of immediately buying everything your children request, create a system where they contribute by saving a portion themselves. That simple practice nurtures patience and responsibility. If you have a partner, financial alignment is essential. Many relationships suffer because of money-related stress. If you are striving for financial freedom while your partner spends carelessly, it will feel as though you are pulling in opposite directions. Sit down together and speak openly about your goals, concerns, and aspirations. Develop a shared vision for the future. When you operate as a team, money becomes a force that strengthens your bond rather than weakening it. Teaching money wisdom also requires leading by example. Actions carry more weight than words. If you encourage your children to save while they observe you overspending or worrying over bills, the message will not endure. Show them responsible financial behavior in everyday life. Let them see you monitor expenses, allocate funds to savings, and make thoughtful choices. These real-life demonstrations teach far more effectively than lectures ever could. It is equally important to discuss the values connected to money. Wealth is not merely about possessions or comfort. It represents freedom, options, and the ability to support others. Help your family understand that money is a resource for building a meaningful life, not a measure of identity. Encourage generosity. Even small acts of giving can shape a child's outlook, revealing that money has the power to create positive change. Do not hesitate to share your own mistakes. If you have made financial errors, and everyone has, use them as lessons. Explain what you learned and how you moved forward. This openness demonstrates that setbacks are not final, they are opportunities for growth. As your family matures, introduce practical financial skills. Teach teenagers how to create a budget, how credit functions, and why debt can be harmful. Show them how to read a pay stub, understand taxes, and open a savings account. These fundamentals may appear simple, yet they are often absent from formal education, and they can determine whether someone becomes a confident adult or struggles continuously with money. Remember, every discussion and every example you provide creates ripples that extend far beyond the present moment. When you teach your family about money, you are not just helping them avoid errors, you are establishing a legacy of resilience and stability. Imagine looking back years from now and seeing your children flourishing financially, making sound decisions, and passing those lessons to their own children. Imagine knowing that by choosing to have these conversations, you altered the course of your entire family line. That is the true power of teaching money wisdom. It extends beyond wealth. It fosters freedom, confidence, and opportunity. Begin small. Begin today. Even one thoughtful conversation at the dinner table can plant a seed that grows for generations. By teaching your family about money, you are doing more than freeing yourself from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. You are making certain that those you love never feel confined by it again. And that may be the most meaningful investment you will ever make.
Chapter 15. Design a life of freedom and purpose. Money mastery is not just about numbers in a bank account. It's about creating a life that feels rich in every way. A life where you wake up excited, free from constant financial stress, filled with a sense of direction and purpose. Many people believe financial freedom simply means having more money, but here's the truth. Money without meaning is empty. You could reach a point where all your bills are paid, you have savings in the bank, you never worry about debt again. That's wonderful. But without a vision for your life, you may still feel unfulfilled. The real goal isn't just escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. It's designing a life where you choose how to spend your time and energy. So start by asking yourself a powerful question. What does freedom truly mean to me? For some, it's traveling the world. For others, it's spending more time with family. For someone else, it's building a passion project or leaving a job they dislike to create something meaningful. Freedom looks different for everyone. But if you don't define it clearly, you'll never know when you've arrived. Once you create a vision, align your financial choices with it. Every dollar you earn, save, or invest should move you closer to that life. This is why your why matters so much. When you're tempted to spend on something unnecessary, your purpose keeps you grounded. It transforms discipline from restriction into empowerment. Understand this. Freedom is built in layers. First comes survival, covering your basic needs without stress. Then security, building an emergency fund and eliminating toxic debt. Next is stability, consistent income streams and calm financial decisions. Finally, true freedom, working because you choose to, not because you must. It doesn't happen overnight. There will be setbacks, unexpected expenses, moments of doubt. That's when your purpose becomes fuel. When you know why you're building this life, you keep going, even when the climb feels steep. Designing a life of freedom also means being intentional with your time. Money is powerful, but time is priceless. If you achieve financial success, yet remain trapped by your schedule, you haven't truly won. Ask yourself, how do I want to spend my days? What kind of work excites me? Who do I want beside me on this journey? Let those answers shape your income, investments, and goals. Maybe you want to travel for months each year, so you build remote income streams. Maybe you want to serve your community, so you build a business that gives back.
Another key step? Let go of comparison. The bigger house, the flashier car, the designer labels. That's someone else's definition of success. True freedom is living on your terms. When you stop comparing, you gain clarity, and clarity brings both peace and power. Celebrate progress along the way. Paying off a debt, reaching a savings milestone, launching your first extra income stream. Each step proves you're building a new reality. Remember, purpose isn't a destination, it's a practice. You'll grow, you'll evolve, your dreams will change. Financial mastery gives you the flexibility to grow with them. Imagine waking up on a Monday morning without dread. Bills paid, income flowing, time for the people and projects that matter most. That is the life you're building. Money is not the ultimate goal, it's the vehicle. Freedom and purpose are the destination. Start designing that life today, one habit, one decision, $1 at a time. Because when you master your money, you don't just change your finances, you change your future and the futures of everyone who follows in your footsteps.